Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the NFL news cycle lately, you know that the AFC North is heating up in a way we haven't seen in years. And the Steelers, as always, are right in the middle of this whirlwind of rumors, speculation, and potential moves that could reshape the division for the foreseeable future. One of the most talked about stories right now involves Shedeur Sanders. Yes, Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback who's been making waves at Colorado and now is suddenly at the center of a blockbuster trade rumor that could send shockwaves through the NFL. And believe me, this isn't just some idle speculation. There are real reasons to think that this move could happen, and it could be a game changer for the Steelers. Let's back up a bit. The story starts with the Cleveland Browns, a team that's been trying to find stability at quarterback for years. They've got Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett, but with Pickett suffering that hamstring injury during training camp, his stock has taken a hit. Now, the Browns, who are always looking to improve, might see an opportunity to shake things up. And the recent comments from Browns owner Jimmy Haslam only add fuel to the fire. Haslam clearly stated that the decision to draft Shedeur Sanders wasn't his, it was Andrew Berry's, the Browns' general manager. That's a pretty telling detail, because it hints that the Browns might be willing to part ways with Sanders if the right deal comes along. And who would be a logical trading partner? Well, the most obvious division rival, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's talk about what this means for Pittsburgh. The Steelers, under Mike Tomlin, have always been known for their stability and smart roster moves. This offseason, they've gone all in, signing veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers in free agency, a move that sent shockwaves through the league. Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, has made it clear that this will be his last season in the NFL. That puts a lot of pressure on the Steelers to make a deep playoff run right now, especially considering that they want to capitalize on Rodgers' experience and leadership. But at the same time, they know that Rodgers isn't getting any younger, and they need to start thinking about the future at quarterback. That's where the draft comes in, and they've already taken a step in that direction by selecting Will Howard out of Ohio State, a quarterback who just won a national championship and shows promise. Still, Howard is a rookie, and the Steelers need more season options, especially if Rodgers' struggles continue or if injuries hit. This brings us to the potential of trading for Shedeur Sanders. You see, Sanders, despite being relatively new to the NFL, has already shown a lot of promise during his time at Colorado. His accuracy and composure as a passer are impressive, especially considering the tough circumstances he faced behind a shaky offensive line. Over just 2 seasons, he threw for over 300 yards and 64 touchdowns. Those are eye-popping stats, especially for someone who is often under pressure and playing behind a less-than-stellar offensive line. That experience, facing constant pressure and still managing to produce, could translate well to the NFL. And in a Steelers offense that features a strong running game and a good blend of pass and run, Sanders could be a perfect fit. Imagine this scenario. Sanders stepping into a Steelers offense that's already built around a solid run game, with the potential to develop into a future franchise quarterback. You'd have him working alongside a talented receiver like DK Metcalf, giving him a reliable target down the field. Metcalf's size, speed, and ability to make contested catches would allow Sanders to utilize his arm strength and accuracy in a way that maximizes the team's offensive potential. It's a recipe for success: young quarterback, a top-tier receiver, a strong run game, and an established coaching staff led by Mike Tomlin. But of course, this isn't just about filling a quarterback spot. It's about building a future contender, especially with Rodgers reaching the end of his career and the team needing to identify their long-term signal caller. Now, let's consider the division dynamics. The Browns, with Shedeur Sanders possibly in their plans, would be strengthening a division rival, which makes this trade even more significant. The Steelers, on the other hand, could be stealing a potential star quarterback from under their rival's nose, giving themselves a major advantage in the AFC North. It's a move that could shift the balance of power, especially if Sanders develops rapidly and becomes a reliable starter sooner than expected. The AFC North has always been competitive, with the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers battling it out every year, but acquiring a young, talented quarterback like Sanders could give Pittsburgh a leg up for years to come. Of course, making such a trade isn't simple. The Browns would want a substantial return for Sanders, and the Steelers would have to weigh the immediate impact versus the long-term potential. And let's not forget, Sanders is still relatively unproven at the NFL level, even with his impressive college resume. But sometimes, taking a calculated risk like this can pay off big time. The Steelers have shown in the past that they're not afraid to make bold moves, and acquiring Sanders could be just that move to push them over the edge and contend for another Super Bowl. Now, what's really interesting is how this potential trade could influence the Steelers' roster and their overall strategy. With Rodgers as the veteran leader, you have a mentor for Sanders, which would be invaluable for his development. Plus, the Steelers would likely need to clear some cap space or parts of their roster to make this work, but the benefits could outweigh the costs. Think about the long-term stability of the franchise if Sanders proves to be the franchise quarterback they've been searching for. The team's offensive line, which has been solid but not spectacular, would also benefit from having a young quarterback who can extend plays and make things happen outside the pocket. Another aspect to consider is the NFL landscape. The league is trending towards more dynamic, mobile quarterbacks who can throw on the run and make plays outside of structure. Sanders fits that mold perfectly, and his mobility combined with his arm talent makes him a tantalizing prospect. The Steelers, with their history of developing quarterbacks, could be the perfect environment for him to thrive. And let's not forget, the division rivals are watching this closely. The Browns, with their recent draft decisions and the possibility of trading Sanders, could be trying to regroup and build a more competitive team around their current core. But if the Steelers pull off this trade, it could send shockwaves through the AFC North, possibly reshaping the division hierarchy for years to come. Now, I know some fans might be wondering, is this really the right move for the Steelers? Well, that depends on a lot of factors. But if you're looking at the bigger picture, the Steelers' recent offseason approach shows their willingness to take risks and make bold decisions. Signing Rodgers was a statement, and drafting Will Howard signals that they're thinking about the future. Bringing in Sanders could be the final piece that puts everything together, giving the team a young, talented quarterback who could develop into a star. And considering the current NFL trend, having a dual-threat at quarterback is almost essential for sustained success. In conclusion, this potential Shedeur Sanders trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers is more than just a rumor. It's a real possibility that could shape the future of the franchise and the AFC North. It's a move that could give Pittsburgh a major advantage, especially if Sanders develops as expected. The division rival in Cleveland might have to face the reality of losing a promising quarterback, and the Steelers could be the team to capitalize on that opportunity. With Rodgers nearing the end of his career, and Will Howard still a rookie, adding Sanders into the mix would give the Steelers multiple options at quarterback, something that's been missing for years. It's an exciting time to be a Steelers fan, and I think we all should keep a close eye on how this story unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from. What's your take on all this? Do you think acquiring Shedeur Sanders is the move that could elevate the team back to Super Bowl contention? Or are you skeptical about trading away draft capital for a quarterback who's still proving himself at the NFL level? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. We're in an exciting era, and whatever happens next, one thing is for sure, the Steelers are always fighting, always striving for greatness, and this potential move could be the catalyst for their next chapter of success. Keep the faith, stay passionate, and as always, go Steelers.